As we talked about in last week's episode, social media can be a very powerful tool when approached strategically. And this week, I'm excited to introduce you to someone who has truly mastered the art of building authentic relationships, even over virtual platforms like Facebook and Instagram. A year ago, Peggy Re James was a stay-at-home mom who was ready to do something more. And within 6 months, she had leveraged social media to build a virtual assistant business so solid that she's now coaching others how to do the same. If you've been wondering whether social media is really worth the time, today's episode is for you.
You're listening to the Support Squad podcast, where virtual assistants come together to share their best business tools and tips. Virtual assistant for life coaches Sharon Nissen created the Support Squad with a firm belief in community over competition. Whether you're a new virtual assistant looking for advice on how to get started, or an established virtual assistant looking to expand your skills and invite even more abundance into your career, you're in the right place. Working from home doesn't have to be lonely. We're in this together. Now, here she is, the host of the Support Squad podcast, Sharon Nissen.
Hey, thanks so much for tuning into another episode of the Support Squad podcast. Summer is winding down. Can you feel it? I mean, can you believe that it's almost September? And you know what that means. A new month means we have another fabulous month of content coming up in the Support Squad membership community. I want to let you know what our members will be receiving this month, and I'll start with the bonus goodies. So based on popular demand, I'll be sharing a sample retainer contract to use for clients that want to reserve ongoing hours with you each month. You can use this sample contract to create your own agreement. Just make sure to run it by a lawyer first so that you're fully covered. There's also going to be a video training on how I use an incredible free app called Headliner to create the audio graphics that I use to promote the podcast each week. I use this process for myself and my clients all the time, and I get so many questions about these audio graphics every month, so I thought I'd let you all in on how I do it. I'm also excited to announce that we'll have another challenge for members this month after our fun Rise and Shine challenge last month. So this month, I'm going to be challenging the squad to show up in their Instagram stories. And one lucky member will win a $15 gift card of their choice. I love these accountability challenges. They're a new feature that I'm rolling out in the membership community, and they are a super fun tool to hold us accountable and to engage with each other and to kind of deepen into the membership on a more kind of fun, community-driven level. So then on top of our private Facebook group and our 2 live coaching calls, we're also going to have a brand new training from our fabulous guest expert, Peggy Re James. And that brings us into today's episode. I know you're like, quit rambling, Sharon, get to the good stuff. So I am so excited to introduce you to this incredibly talented lady. Peggy Re James is a business coach for virtual assistants, and she's passionate about helping virtual assistants scale their businesses by giving them both the foundation that they need as well as proven marketing strategies to help propel them quickly to a full-time income. Her favorite part of being a VA coach is watching women own their superpowers, push past fear, and change their futures. When she's not working, you can find her wrangling her 3 little girls or reading a self-development book. Now, today we're chatting about how her journey as a virtual assistant began, how she balances being a mom and a business owner, and how she's used relationship marketing to build her business. So let's dive in. Hey, Peggy.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, so good. We were just talking about it's kind of Monday, but
Yep.
I'm so excited to have you here. I'm in your Facebook group, the Virtual Assistant Club on Facebook, and I know we have some crossover in our community. I've seen some of the girls in there, so it's so fun. It's I've heard just such wonderful things about you, so I'm so excited to have you.
Thank you. That's so kind.
Yeah. So to start, I would love to hear just your journey as a virtual assistant. How did you get started and what has that process looked like for you?
Okay, yeah. So about a year ago, really this month, a year ago, I was just kind of feeling particularly down about just being a mom and a wife. I wanted a little bit more. I wanted to contribute more, and I knew I had talent, and I knew I wanted to impact more people. And I was just feeling a little bit like, ugh, I just need something. So I happened upon a Facebook ad. And I actually forget who was now, but it was talking about being a virtual assistant. And I honestly had never heard the term before. And I was just really piqued. I was like, what is this? So I watched like the 90-minute video. Actually, it might have been Lori Goldman, Free Mama Movement. Anyway, so I watched the whole thing, and I was like, you know what, I could do this. I could totally do this. And my personality is definitely the type that I just go all in. Like, there's no stopping me. I just once I set my mind to something, like that's it. So I talked to my husband. And he's like super supportive of everything. So he's like, yeah, sure. Make us some more money. That sounds great. I actually looked around for some courses to take, and none of them felt right to me at the time. And because of my personality, I was like, I'm gonna try this on my own. I'm gonna just try this on my own. So I did. I just dove in. I literally listened to probably 5 podcasts a day. I was reading books. I was living on YouTube. I created my own website. I lived and breathed it. Like, it's probably a little unhealthy, but it worked. It worked. I learned the ins and outs really quickly, and I got my first client in 3 weeks from deciding I was going to do it. And I just grew from there.
Yes, very similar stories, yours and mine. I had never heard of a virtual assistant before, and I was the same. I didn't really want to invest in like a course, and I knew I could just like do it on my own. But so I'm curious. Everyone has such different experiences. For you, and like to give advice to new virtual assistants who are listening, what were some of your go-to places when you were first starting out to find clients? Like, where did you find your first client, and what are some of those tips?
Yeah. So my first client was a friend. I actually, before I even launched, he had a kind of a whiny post about not liking social media, and like, I wish I could just hand this off. And I thought, I'm going to contact him. And I did. And he was game, he didn't want to pay me what I wanted to make, but it was experience. And it was great experience. It wasn't my ideal client by any means, but it was my foot in the door, and it gave me confidence, which was really key. And so my first tip, I guess, would be you have to put yourself out there. You have to get past the fear of just going for it. And it was so scary. Like, I don't want to minimize that for anyone, because it is scary. Like, it is terrifying to step out of your comfort zone. And I didn't know what I was doing. Like, I did and I didn't. I knew like logistically what to do, but handling clients, I'd been out of the workforce for 5 years, so it had been a while. So I was like actually answering to someone else. So yeah, that's how I got my first one. And then I started my own Instagram, Facebook page, and I just continued to stay really active in Facebook groups, do more like emailing and stuff like that. And I just built something really quickly and loved it, like loved the challenge, and very quickly realized that I wanted to be teaching it. Like, it was within like 6 months, I was like, yeah, like I like, because other virtual assistants were reaching out to me saying, how did you do it? Like, I'm so interested. And I was giving like free coaching. And I loved it. Like, I loved that side of it. And I was also coaching some of my clients who were looking for more strategy. That was my favorite part of it. So it just felt like a really natural progression for me. And it felt really like quick, but it felt really right at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's one of the coolest things about our industry is that it can all happen so fast. And then there's so many different ways that you can transition either into mentoring or, online business management or strategy. There's like so many places that you can go from being a virtual assistant.
It's like a gateway. It's a gateway.
It's a gateway. Because one thing I talk a lot about with, or I've talked about with other experts is that as we're building our virtual assistant business, we're learning how to build any business. Yes. So all of those strategies can come into play in so many different ways. So that's so cool. And so I'm a mom too. And I know how challenging it is to start that business out of nowhere, to be working from home, to kind of be balancing all of those little things. And people ask me all the time how I do it. What does a day look like for a work at home mom? So I'd love to hear from you too. Like what is a day life as a work at home mom, as a virtual assistant and a virtual assistant mentor? How do you juggle all of that?
Yeah, it's not perfect. It's not a perfect system. Like it's never how I want the day to turn out. And I've just kind of accepted that, So I think that's the first thing to know if you're going into this as a working mom. I mean, as a stay-at-home mom, that it's not going to be perfect and you're going to have a day that just looks completely different than you had in mind. And that's okay. That's okay. But I learned really early on that I needed help. And I think that was kind of the key to propelling my business. I knew that I needed to delegate out. So I had my family helping me a lot with watching the kids. My husband is a pilot, so he's actually home a lot. So we just have like an agreement right off the bat that when you're home, I'm working, period. And it's worked really well. So I think being really honest with yourself that you're going to need help and then figuring out how you're going to get that help. And at first it was just here and there, a couple hours with my sister or my mom, and then working like late at night and early in the morning, just fitting it in at nap time, sometimes putting the kids in front of the TV so I could get some work done. Like this does not look perfect at all. But now that I'm kind of to the next level of my business, like I actually just hired a part-time nanny, and things are going to start to balance out and my work days are going to look a little bit smoother. Yes. It's just like getting past the hump. I think that my advice would be dig in, like it's not going to be perfect. You're going to cry. You're going to be frustrated. You're going to want to quit. You're going to wonder why you're doing this. And just know that like it will get better. It will come, you will come out of it. It'll still be crazy, be a different kind of crazy, but you'll get past of like, because everything is new at the beginning. Everything is new.
Yes.
And confusing. So.
Yeah. And you said a couple of things that are so refreshing to hear, like that you cry and that sometimes you put your kid in front of the TV.
Yeah.
Because I cried so many times until now I've found a little more balance, as like you said, getting over that hump, now my son's in preschool and we can justify that expense as my income has gone up. But at the beginning, it was a lot of late nights. It was a lot of up early and it was a lot of crying that I was overwhelmed and not sure how it was all going to work out. Yeah. And then the other piece is, sometimes you do put your kid in front of the TV, but and there's always some guilt that goes along with that. But, sometimes you just have to do what you have to do in that process of building a better life for everyone. Mm-hmm. So that's such great advice. Just keep pushing through it. You'll get over the hump. And then I tell people all the time, like plan as much as you can, but then be prepared to just throw all of that out the window some days.
Yeah, definitely. And keep that end goal in mind, because that helps too. When you feel that mom guilt in that moment, it helps me to be like, but next year we're going to Disney, and then eventually my husband's going to be able to retire early and they're going to have a full-time dad too. Like how amazing that's going to be. And so just remembering like the end goal really helps when you're in the moment of like complete frustration and mom guilt.
Yeah, I always have things in the future I'm looking forward to. Like I know eventually like my son will be in school full time. That'll open things up. Like it's all, a process towards like a better life for everyone. Yeah. So it's so important. Yeah, cool. Yeah. So, Great. The other thing, I'm excited to share with everyone is that you are our featured guest expert in the support squad.
Yay!
But yeah, I'm so excited. And I'm so excited for your training because it's been such a hot topic in our group.
Awesome.
Because we are all, on social media all the time. And sometimes just like figuring out that strategy is so important. So can you tell us a little bit about what you'll be talking about in your training for our members?
Yeah, so I'm going to be covering a little bit about relationship marketing, content marketing, and market research, because they all really tie together really nicely. And I think one of the keys to success is building relationships. And without that, it's like you're not going to be successful, like, period. Like, you have to build real, genuine connections with people. And so I want to teach you guys how to do that in a sleazy way, in an actual, a genuine way, how to connect with people on Instagram, mainly because that's what I use and have been really successful, and also Facebook groups, how to reach out to people without selling, but also getting in front of them and actually creating lasting relationships that turn into referrals. Just that snowball, that compound effect of the relationship building. And yeah, that's what I want to cover. And that's what I teach my clients. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah, you're totally speaking my language, because I think a lot of people feel like just putting themselves out there online is enough, but it's really, it's almost more simple than people think it is. It's about building relationships. Yeah. So I'm excited to see what you have to share with that. And then of course, I want everyone to know how they can get in touch with you. I know you have a lot of fun things going on in your business. So let us know where we can find you online and what you have coming up.
Yeah, so I still am working the VA side of my business. I feel like it's extremely important to stay in it, yes, to be the best coach that I can possibly be for my clients. But I am I do one-on-one coaching, and I have a group program. And the group program is kind of like the hot thing right now. And it's, private Facebook group. It's a lot of one-on-one, Voxer, group coaching, basically everything that I wish that I had when I was starting. So that you get that self-paced material, but on top of that, you get basically catered to you. So that's what I'm offering now, and that's what I'm most excited about. That's what everyone's really excited about. And I have a free Facebook group. So that's where you can find me if you're interested in just joining the community, getting to know, what I do. I have a lot of free trainings similar to what I'll be doing with Sharon, shorter versions of free trainings. And so the Virtual Assistant Club on Facebook is where you can find me. And then on Instagram, I'm Peggy Re James. On Facebook, I'm Peggy Re James. And my website's peggyrejames.com.
Awesome. We'll have all of those links for you in the show notes. So stay tuned. I think me and Peggy are both having moments with our kids right now. Real talk.
Mom life. Mom life.
We're living it right at this moment.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
So thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. Thank you so much.
Yay! Thank you, Peggy, for sharing your journey with us. As I mentioned, you can learn all about Peggy and preview her exclusive training for Support Squad members in the show notes at thesupportsquad.com. I also hope you'll join us by enrolling in the Support Squad membership community for our shiny new month. The sample retainer contract, the headliner training, and Peggy's training will be going live in the membership area on September 1st. I'll see you in there. Until next time, Boss Babe.